The One Thing by Gary Keller and Papasan made me so angry when I read it. This book is the perfect example of a book that could have simply been a blog post or even half of a blog post. It took 240 pages to tell us just one thing, and that is you need to do one thing at a time. What scares me the most is that this book sold 3 million copies and it was on the New York Times bestseller list. What? Either I'm crazy or this book is so good and outstanding that I just missed something. It's all about productivity and you just have to do one thing and just focus. But the reality is there are different kinds of people out there, especially my neurodivergents out there. If you're like me and you want to do 10 different things at once, or you desperately need novelty to keep you engaged in a task, or if you start something and then stop, but you need to learn to switch back to different things, this book will destroy you. Because it's one of those books that you pick up like I did and you read it and you're like, damn, I'm so tired. I started this project and this project isn't finished and I have to still do this and this is still open, and you have many different things going on all at once, and you pick up a book like this and you're like, okay, finally, I'm gonna read this book and it's gonna convince me that I need to focus on just one thing and everything's gonna be okay. But no, it's gonna make you more upset and more lost and more confused. And not only that, the book is just about, focus on one thing. It's also a ridiculously bad book in my opinion. It contradicts itself all over the place. And that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. I'm gonna break down all of the contradictions in this book. I'm also gonna highlight, yes, there are some good points in this book that are useful for some people. Maybe even if you are neurodivergent, some of these might actually be helpful and worth a try. And then I'm going to give you an even better question than the one thing question that this book is framed on. It's literally framed, the whole book, 240 pages, is just about one question. And I'm gonna give you an even better one that is backed by research and science that shows it's a better question. The whole book is focused on one simple question and it took half the book to get to it. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Now, is this a bad question? No, but it seems ridiculous, and even in the book he breaks it down section by section. Okay, what's the one thing? For my neurodivergents out there, and I know for me personally, if something is really boring, I need to be doing something else. Like if I'm in a lecture, I need to be reading or maybe writing something, and then I'll be listening on the side until something interesting comes up. Sometimes just doing one thing isn't the right answer. The next part is that I can do. Now, I think I can do is important, and I would add also, what can you do that you will do? Because so many people can do pretty much everything. You're alive. If you're not in a really rough place or physically unable to do something, then you can do it. So I don't know how this is such an uncommon question, Gary Keller and Papasan. We know what we can do, but we just don't do it. Because let's be honest, you're probably having a bad day if you really need to ask yourself this question. Most people, when they wake up, they know what they need to do. If you don't, then you have no direction and no purpose and you don't know where you're going, and that's fine. Then you want to go back and focus on that. And this question isn't gonna help. I talked about this in another video using the VICE framework. Like, what are your values? What are your interests? What are your curiosities? What gives you energy? That's a good framework to find your purpose. Now, this could be different. Maybe it's a really, really tiny, small action, or maybe it's a really big action. It doesn't have to be, everyone's always like, take the smallest, tiniest action you can. No, what can you do that you are willing to do? Is it just to make your bed? Okay, then that's the one thing you can do, that everything else gets easier or unnecessary. Right now, that is for me, have a sip of coffee. I disagree with so much of this book. I actually hate this book so much. I think it's useful to see a video like this where someone's not like, the one thing changed my life. Here are the top 5 ideas from the book. I'm done with that. No more of that. This is gonna get real. We're reading books, and if it sucks, we're gonna say that it sucks, and that's okay. And then if nobody watches the video because they're like, well, I only wanted to see what the good things are from the book. Well, not all books are great. Actually, all books suck a little bit. Anyway, man, I'm gonna go off on this one. And then the next part is such that everything else will be easier or unnecessary? It's all about leverage. Naval Ravikant says this is look for your highest leverage point. It's all about leveraging your time. Like when I make this video, it exists across time. This is a far superior question. And again, I'm not hating on the authors at all. They wrote a book that helped a lot of people. It's just surprising to me, like, how do these things get missed? Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky came up with the idea, and it was called the prospect theory. We will do more to avoid pain and loss, more than we will pursue pleasure. Kahneman, the guy, he won the Nobel Prize, like he knows what he's talking about. We will put in more effort to avoid pain or loss than we will to gain an incentive. Sure, what's the one thing I could do right now that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? So easier or unnecessary is a gain for us. Now this reframe is far superior because it focuses on pain. Out of all the dozens and dozens of things that you want to do or you have to do or you need to do, if you don't do this thing, everything else becomes more difficult, painful. We don't like difficult things. More complex and stressful. We hate stress. We want to avoid stress. Again, not all stress is bad. I've talked about this before. Believing that stress can help us is phenomenal, actually, especially paired with the growth mindset. But in this case, we're thinking of things that we have to do that are stressing us out. So as humans, we will do far more. We will put in more effort, more energy, more focus to avoid pain and discomfort, which is this. So if you really want a far superior question, you can just ask yourself this. It's a better question. You just ask yourself, what's the one thing that if I don't do, everything else gets way harder in my life? Or you can also add this, what is the one thing that if I don't do it will make everything more difficult, complex, or stressful, and make my dreams impossible to reach? I feel like that hits way harder, at least for me personally, because then when I think about it, I'm like, shit, if I don't do this, then I can't have my dream life. So if you need just one question that rules them all, this is it. The whole thing is you're choosing one thing because yes, focusing on one thing at a time is important. And then you're focusing on like, if you don't do it. So this amplifies it, like, what do I need to do? We all know what we need to do. It doesn't really prioritize anything, but if you're like, shit, if I don't do that one thing, like that's the real domino. One of the premises, like the domino effect. And if you do this one thing, then all other dominoes get easier. And like, no thanks, authors. This is the real domino. The thing that if you don't do, everything gets worse in your life, basically. But I think that's what scares me, right? Is because so many people read these books and they must think it's amazing. It's not even done correctly. The question isn't optimal. This is a far, far superior question. And we know this from all of the research and human behavior and psychology. Like, I just can't even. I guess I will say this. This is a life-changing book because it changed the trajectory of this channel. Before I was doing like, here are the top 5 ideas from the book. Here are my favorite quotes. You know, here are the lessons you can learn. Now it's like, you know what? Some books are good, here are the good parts, but other parts, like, here's what sucks about the book and here's what's wrong about the book. We need more of that out there, I think. Okay, since we're talking about questions, there are way better questions out there, I think, like the one I just gave you. And this actually came from Casey Neistat. I heard it in a video and I haven't been able to forget it. I actually have it written down on my journal right there. Someone asks him, like, how does he know that he's doing the right thing, how he's on the right path? And here's exactly what he says.
Absolutely fixate on what it is that I want to be doing all day long, every day. What am I doing right now? Is this exactly where I want to be?
If you don't know what you're doing, just sit down and ask yourself, what do you want to be doing all day, every day? Now, I know that sounds pretentious and like just asking what you want to do and it's going to magically appear. It's not. This question takes a ton of courage and time to journal, sit with it, and really figure out who you are, get quiet and see who it is. Then it takes even more courage to actually go pursue that. And then I ask myself this, is this what I want to be doing? So this is leading you to focus on following your energy, your interests, your curiosity, that vice framework I talked about. If the answer is yes, perfect, keep going. If the answer is no, The next question is this helping me do it? No matter what, even if you own your own business and you're like, everything's sunshine and rainbows and I love everything that I'm doing, some parts suck. So you might ask yourself when you're doing taxes, is this what I want to be doing? Hell no, of course not. But is this helping me do the thing that I want to be doing? Okay, here are the top 5 contradictions from the book where I was reading and literally thinking to myself, like, what the actual fuck are they trying to say? Why are they making this so complicated? These are only 5 of them. If you want the full book summary breakdown, it's on my website. The link will be down below. You can also join my weekly newsletter where I share book breakdowns, main ideas, contrarian takes, and we also talk about other things like travel and how to use AI better. Get a free PDF on the 21 lessons from the 200 books that I read. The first one is this. In the book, it says, go big. It's all about thinking big. And like the next sentence, they're like, but you need to go really small. So you think big, but you act really, really small and do the tiniest little thing. Now, there are other books like that. Ugh, that's a contradiction in itself. If you think big, you need to go big. You need to take big actions. I see it all the time of you need to have this big, massive picture, your mansion and your cars and the money and all your dreams are fulfilled and you live in paradise. And then you open up your eyes and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna write 1 sentence right now. This is not a helpful concept, people. I don't know why this shit keeps coming up in like book after book after book. If you're gonna think big, you need to take big, massive fucking action and fail a ton. You gotta go huge. The book is all about some uncommon questions and uncommon techniques. Then you gotta do uncommon actions. The beginning is all about the Pareto principle. Goes back to this key word. What can you do that gives you the most results? Less is more. In fact, the book says extraordinary results are disproportionately created by fewer actions than most realize. It can easily play out where 90% of your success comes from 20% of your effort. Put in less effort on the right things, and then you'll get more output. That's what it's saying, right? Am I missing this? Later in the book, it says this. To achieve extraordinary results, you must choose what matters most and give it all the time it demands. In order to have extraordinary results, you need to give it an extraordinary amount of time and effort. If you're thinking small, gives you small results. But if you're thinking big and you put in more time and effort, you get big results. Am I missing something? It's saying more time and effort equals more extraordinary results. But then what happened to the less is more? Gary Keller, what? From this book, I don't know, is less is more? So should we just focus on the things that move the lever the most? Yeah, I would recommend that. Leverage is the key to life. If you could find the things that you put in your time and effort one time only and it compounds and multiplies, yes, that's the key. Next, this was actually the only useful thing I took from the book, which again is why we read books, because some books are shit, some books are great. It was the first time I heard of, they say out of balance, I call it unbalance. When you find your thing, that's it. You gotta go all in on it. Don't just forget your family and your friends and everything, but you gotta go all in. This was like the first idea of monk mode. If you go all in for 6 months on whatever it is, your business, this thing you want to build, this product, then you gotta counterbalance and give time back to, family and friends and your social life. This is the idea that's helped me, is I realized like, okay, it's work time. Like that's it. I really don't go out much. I was always trying to balance everything, like the perfect morning routine, the perfect night routine, being incredibly healthy, and then doing a ton of work. And I realized it takes up time. So you do have to choose the things to get unbalanced on. But then at the end of the book, it gives a literal day in the life of the high productive performer. And this is the day in the life. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty fucking balanced life to me. Like not only meditating and prayer and exercise and eating healthy. Oh, and spending time and laughing with loved ones. Like, oh, what? 3 million copies? New York Times bestseller list? I feel like I can't make any point any clearer. There is a whole chapter that says you need to go so far out of balance. Like that's it. When you're doing your one thing, you pick it and you go all in and you just do that. Like there's a chapter on that. And then they end the book with, you need to be balanced and healthy, and here's the perfect daily life. If anyone's done any of those things, you already know how long that takes. Sleep 8 hours, to meditate and pray and exercise 2 hours minimum. Then you have to eat healthy, then spend time with family, then you need to plan your day. I'm just confused. Next is the habit BS. They do in the book at least cite one of the main studies that's come out. The study said that it could take anywhere from 18 to 254 days to create a habit. So I'm happy that they at least cited the study, but then they really focus on 66 days. And this drives me nuts. I've talked about this before in another video. Habits are not real. Stop believing this. I exercised for 488 days in a row. By all studies, including this book, I had an exercise habit. But did it stick? No, because it cost energy. And anything that costs energy, never going to be a true habit. So anything that takes time and effort on our part is always going to be difficult. In the book, they specifically say, you don't need discipline. Did you hear what I just said? You can become successful with less discipline than you think for one simple reason. Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. So what they're saying is all you have to do is just do the right thing, choose the right thing, and then do the right thing. Then you don't need discipline. Oh yeah? Is that right? Let me ask you about this. Let me challenge you. If that's true, we can all agree exercise is the single most important thing we can do for our health and longevity, right? So that is the right thing. Exercising every day is the right thing to do. Okay, now go do it for, let's say, 30 days in a row. Don't miss a single day. You probably cannot do it. But according to them, you don't need discipline if you do the right thing. Or I just need discipline long enough until the habit sticks and then I'll be fine. Try exercising for a year every day. And then you tell me if you have a habit of exercise and if, oh, I chose exercise because it's the right thing to do for my health. And then if you don't need discipline, yeah, let me know how that fucking works. Now, this is the final one and the most important one. Now, for all of my neurodivergents out there, this whole book, the idea is you're choosing the priority. And when you have the priority, this is the one thing that is the most important thing that I do right now. But guess what? For some brains, priority doesn't work at all. It could be the top, #1 priority in the universe. And some of us might not be motivated to do it. Unless there's some form or combination of interest, novelty, some sort of urgency. So guess what? This book doesn't work for many people. If you're someone who's read this book and it's changed your life and you made it this far in the video without being too upset with me and shutting it off, I'm so curious, please leave a comment down below and let me know how it changed your life. I see like 4.6 stars and it's got over 20,000 reviews. That's pretty solid. Is it just one of those things where it's like normal brains versus neurodivergent brains? It could just be that. Even for the normal brains, I feel like this book is confusing. I know what I need to do. I'll be like, what can I do today that makes everything easier or unnecessary? It's just not helpful. I never want to like shit on a part and be like, the priority thing doesn't work for anybody and not give you a solution. I never cared much for destinations. The idea of landing is too finite for my imagination and sense of song. Give me a direction and a 16-lane highway with room to swerve and explore along the way. It is my all-time favorite quote, and when I read it, it felt so profound, but I didn't know why. And recently, I put it all together. For those of you where priority doesn't work or your importance doesn't work, this has been incredible. I've picked 5 things, you could call them buckets as well, but they all lead to my dream life. And I just have 5 lanes. I choose which one not is priority, but which one is giving me the energy to move forward in. But it doesn't matter which one I choose because they all lead in the same direction. Sure, some might get a little bit further ahead. I might do more work on this one for a little while before switching to this one, and then this one might fall behind, but then you'll have an explosion or a sprint where you catch up on this. It works. For those people who have this, maybe a particular brain where novelty or interest or any sort of urgency might work for your brain, this has been incredibly transformative. Then when you wake up, you don't just ask yourself, what is the one thing that I can do? It's just, which one am I aligned with right now? Where is my energy? This, again, took me years to understand and accept, but some normal people just wake up and they're like, this is important today. I'm gonna go to work and do what I need to do. amazing. For me, that didn't work, and it ended up trying to follow that path almost destroyed my life. All of these also allow for novelty, which is, for me, I realize again, a #1 priority, as well as freedom. So again, if you have one of those brains, you know that freedom and autonomy is important, and this gives you choice. Choice makes you feel like you have freedom and autonomy, even though you're like in a guardrail or in a container. Your brain doesn't really know that. So, life-changing. After all that, I don't want to poop all over the book and just say it's all horrible, because again, clearly people liked it and there are some useful points, and here's what's useful. We're gonna start at number 5, because why not? And that is the Pareto principle. What is the leverage, the high leverage tasks you can do in your life to get the most benefits? It's just a useful guide in life. Again, it's not perfect all of the time, but it's a great framework or mental model to view the world in. One of the underlying principles is finding your why. Many people are like, how do I find my purpose? Purpose isn't something out there. It's something inside you. It's a feeling. When you do something, you feel good, but then how do you find that feeling? And this is what you want. You have to take actions towards things that you are curious about, that energize you and align with your values. And yes, you can use past interests to guide you, but only by taking the actions. It's the only way. And eventually, purpose will start to emerge. Next, don't break the chain. I'll let my younger self tell you all about don't break the chain.
Get a calendar, stick it on a wall where you can see it. Every day you set a time and place where you're gonna do something. Every time I finish, I put a red X on the calendar.
I did that before when I was doing comedy writing. It is extremely effective. Next, saying no. This is incredibly important. And the idea is, when you know the one thing, like right now, today, all I had to do was record this video. Anything outside of that doesn't allow me to record that video is a no. So this is why it's important to know your one thing, because you can focus on it and that's it. All of us, we need to get better at saying no to people. Personally, I was a people pleaser growing up my entire life, so it's still something that I'm working on, but it is refreshing because the more things you can say no to means the more yeses you can give to the things that you really want to do. And then finally, probably the most valuable tip is time blocking. Now, this is nothing new. It comes from way back, like Benjamin Franklin talking about, having set times for reading and set times for working. You pick a block every day and you put it on the calendar. One thing, one thing, one thing, one thing. Some brains, you're gonna get bored and you're gonna burn out and you're going to hate it, and then you're gonna feel guilty about it and feel shame, and then you're not gonna do it, and it's gonna be this horrible shame cycle. You don't have to time block the one thing every single day. You could time block the 5 buckets or the 5-lane highway or any variation of that. There are other variations. I'll make another video about that. There are just other ways to work other than like, pick your one thing, it's a priority, do it every single day. Ugh. Hate it. So you might be wondering, should I even bother reading this book? This book sounds horrible. If it's the beginning of your journey in self-improvement, this should be early on in the journey. Maybe you'll see if the one thing idea fits for you, maybe it doesn't, and then you'll know right away, okay, maybe you need a different approach. If you've read other books, skip this one. It will probably frustrate you, or it'll make you upset because you'll be like, I just need to do the one thing. Why can't I just focus on one thing at a time? Because you might not be that kind of person, and that's okay. It really is. As always, I have to leave you with actionable takeaways because this is what it is all about. And that's another thing. If you are interested in joining an intellectual action community where we get together and we read a book a month and we talk about specific actions, legitimate actions we took from the book and tried in our life. If you're interested, link will be down below for the wait list. The first one is the same thing that comes up over and over. Find your purpose. Finding what you love to do, executing relentlessly. The VICE framework, it helps. And you just need to try a bunch of shit, really. That's it. Get over the fear and just start trying a ton of stuff. be willing to look a little bit ridiculous, and to learn hard things. It will all kind of come out as you take action. It's the only way. Next, this one was helpful for me. Get unbalanced. It's not even that it's time. Sure, you can manage your time with time blocking, but it's also mental bandwidth and energy. Like, you really need to be in there for 4 to 6 hours every day, like giving it your all if you want to do something big. While you're doing that, also stay healthy, because we do forget that. Even I do. I went so unbalanced for a while. I forgot to I was like, well, this is more important. I've got energy for work. And then slowly exercise and meditation got pushed out to the background. Don't let that happen. Exercise, meditate, sleep. Next, set goals. In the book, it does do your 10-year, do your 5-year, do your 3-year, do your 1 month, do your 1 week. Ugh, I fucking hate that shit so much. I like what Tim Ferriss says.
My planned time horizon tends to be, I would say, with most things in this 6 to 12 month range.
Why? Because the world is changing so rapidly that it's ridiculous to spend that much time thinking of your 3-year goal plan. But next, I love this. I'm obsessed with this. Shape your environment. And they do mention that in the book, that your environment does matter. It's all about removing distractions, anything that's gonna cost you willpower. I have sections in the place that I stay. Can you see that? And you might be like, what's a mat doing there? And it never comes up. I never go on the mat any other time except when I'm gonna stretch in the morning or evening. So it's just there, but it's like a section. So your environment matters. Learn to train your brain. These little things do work. I am so invested now in the environment matters. Being in the right place with the right speed and the vibe and removal of distractions has been a game changer. You can change your environment, remove things, have little sections and stations set up where you do certain things. These work. And then lastly, I'll leave you with this. Use my question that I gave you at the beginning of this video. It is truly superior for your brain, because we will do more to avoid pain and discomfort. What is the thing that if I don't do this thing, I will lose my dream life? I won't get what I want. That's pain, that's discomfort. Oof, I don't like that at all. You can do all the things that you want to do in your life. You don't have to do just one thing. However, you do have to do one thing at a time.